Alright, all you need is a ruler and a pencil. And what we're going to do is decide on where we want the horizon line to be. So you can have the horizon line in the middle, and that will just be like a normal town. You could though have the horizon line right up at the top, and that would make it like you were looking down onto a lot of buildings. Or you could have it where the horizon line is down here and you're looking up at the building. I think I'm going to have mine like up at the top so that I'm looking down on the building. Just put a really light line, try not to draw around your finger like I just did, along the top. And then on that light line, I'm going to do what's called a vanishing point. So just a small line like that. I can then decide on where I want the fronts of my slums to be. So the fronts of the slums are going to be like squares. Now, if you don't know how to draw a right angle or a 90 degrees angle, then you can just use a piece of paper to help you. So I've just got this flyer here that I got through the door. It's got a nice right angle there. If you look directly at it, it's a 90 degrees angle there. What I can do is use that to make sure that my angles are going to be completely 90 degrees. And then I know that this line is perpendicular, so 90 degrees from the horizon line. It means that this angle here is a 90 degrees angle. And just line my ruler up like that, and just lightly I'm going to draw a 6 centimetre line down there like that. I'm then going to take my flyer and again line it up with the line that I've just drawn. Take my ruler and then draw another line. Maybe I'll make my slum tall and thin. So maybe it'll be like 4 centimetres along there. I remember my left hand side was 6 centimetres and the top is 4. Doesn't really matter again what size your square is. I've just decided to make mine 6 by 4. So this side is 6 down to there, and then these lines should be the same length, so I can just go ahead and draw my line going across. I'm then going to draw some more so that I've got a variety of different buildings, and I'm going to show you then how to make those buildings look 3D. Now that I have done my first row of buildings along the middle of my page, I'm going to start making those buildings look 3D using the vanishing point. So the order of the things that you need to draw. We've already done the front face of the buildings. It looks like a square or a rectangle. We're then going to do diagonal lines coming from the corners going towards the vanishing point. Then we're going to do top lines, so the back face of the building, and then the side face of the back of the building. Lastly, the diagonal lines going in the direction of the vanishing point need to come off of these corners. So all you need to do is take your ruler and line it up going in the direction of the vanishing point like that. So I now need to put a line on the top of the building at the back, and it needs to be parallel to the line at the front of the top of the building. So this is the line across the top of the front. Can you see? Just going along there. The line on the back needs to be exactly the same angle, so parallel to the one on the front, but just further back. The last part of my drawing is to do this vertical line coming down from the corner, and that's to finish off the back of my building. The next part of my drawing is going to be to draw some smaller squares up here. Now moving on to step 2, which is the side line. So I've done my diagonal lines going to the back. I'm now going to do the third step, step 3, which is the top of the back of the building. Okay, it's almost like I've got two streets, one in front of the other now. So what I can do now is I can decide whether I want to have some stilts on some of these buildings or some stairs. And if you want to have some stilts, you can mark them out very lightly on the bottom of the buildings. So put 4 light marks, and then you can draw some thin lines, parallel lines coming out of the bottom of your buildings. One thing you need to do if you've done stilts is just at the bottom, just put what's called a semicircle onto the bottom. The next part of my slum drawing is to add some doors on there because the people need to get in and out of their houses, don't they? So I'm just going to take my ruler and draw in some doors. And actually what I'm going to do first actually is just mark onto the edge of my building where I'd like my door to be. Now that I have drawn all the doors on the front of the buildings, what I'm going to do is start drawing some steps, and I'm going to do steps here, here and here. When you're drawing steps, you have to draw the line coming down as the back of the step on the point closest to the vanishing point. So it's that left-hand point there. The next step is to take your ruler, line it up to the vanishing point and do a diagonal line, a small diagonal line for the top of the step. I then take my ruler and I do a vertical line coming down from that, and that is for the depth of the step. I then need to draw a line for the width of the step, and it has to be the same width as the door. So I'll just measure that out and then do some parallel lines coming from the corners for the width. And this right hand side of the step is exactly the same as the left hand step that you've already drawn. Now I'm going to start shading, and I've finished my drawing. I need to decide where the light is coming from in this drawing. Just put an arrow like that where I think the light is coming from. The lightest part of the building is probably going to be the roof, and the darkest ones will probably be right underneath here, around about on the floor. But also I'd quite like to put a little bit of water in here because I think really these are on stilts. There'll probably be some puddles. Remember, they're not well sanitized, the slums, so perhaps there would be little puddles on the ground. What you'll find where two areas of tone join is you might find a little line. So just go over and disguise that with your pencil. Another common problem is to shade in that direction because it's quite easy to shade in that direction. But then when you come to try and do this section here, you've got a gap there, haven't you? So you might need to change your pencil direction just to kind of neaten up certain areas of tone.
From the land of the Goonie Goonie to the banks of the Shalimar, there's a native tune that's loony, and they sing it hey to the bar. Here, 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 here. Yo dem away him who he did a baby, Boruto dem away him who he did a baby, yo dem away him who he did a baby, Boruto dem away him who he did a Dora's a lamb, I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie, Dora's and Boo. I don't mean like a Googa Louis Karoo, or maybe I'm a Shuka Zulu or Boo. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Some guy heard it in the tropics, but he didn't know how to dig that jive. So a Harlem expedition succeeded in this mission. They brought him back alive. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie, Dora's and Boo. I don't mean like a Googa Louis Karoo, or maybe I'm a Shuka Zulu or Boo. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Some guy heard it in the tropics, but he didn't know how to dig that jive. So a Harlem expedition succeeded in its mission. Boy, they brought him back alive. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Here, 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 here. Yo dem away him who he did a baby, Boruto dem away him who he did a baby, yo dem away him who he did a baby. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie, Dora's and Boo. I don't mean like a Googa Louis Karoo, or maybe I'm a Shuka Zulu or Boo. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Some guy heard it in the tropics, but he didn't know how to dig that jive. So a Harlem expedition succeeded in this mission. They brought him back alive. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie. Dora's a lamb. I don't mean Tangaduka Foo Alabama, or maybe I'm a Duka Schmerzi Kazam. Generic Loopadooka Googie, Woogie, Jungle Boogie.